Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the bogey-free podcast for the Genesis Open. I'm your host, Evan Chaney, today joined by Matt, Jimmy, and a special guest, Chris Hollander. How you doing today, guys?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? I appreciate you guys having me on.
It's a pleasure having you on.
I don't know about that. I got to be better than Moose. That's really all I'm shooting for here.
I mean, he had one of the greatest moments of our show's history with the fajita.
It's going to be hard to top.
Yeah, you just got to have your burrito ready. Something could happen. You have a closet full of stuff behind you, like a shelf could fall.
Somebody could come out of it. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could happen that could put you over the top in the Moose category.
I know, Chris. So, if you're not watching this right now, if you're just going to be listening to it later, Chris and Evan are firmly on Team Closet right now, so they've got that going for them.
Oh yeah, and I added a floating helmet, so that's cool.
And I'm just a floating logo of our brand because my computer just decides that the camera isn't going to work anymore. So yeah,
it happens.
Shit happens. Yeah,
sure does.
Well, before we get into this week's tournament, let's talk about last week for a little bit. One thing I want to point out, my one and done pick of Nick Watney was not as crazy as you guys thought.
No, it wasn't. And no, one and done's. My guy for my professional golfer for the tournament missed the cut. That was a bummer. My pick for the Pro-Am, however, won the Pro-Am. Unfortunately, I get exactly 0 for that. I get nothing. Unfortunately.
Yeah, how did Larry the Cable Guy do?
I'm not sure. But Larry Fitzgerald won. So there's that.
I gotta look this up.
And
that's about as good as I did last week. Had a lot of Patrick Reed, and that really hurt. Not sure what happened on Thursday for him, but oh well. I had a decent amount of DJ. Had a lot of Rom. So, but I had too much Rory. Rory didn't show up.
Potter goat though. You just gotta mash in Potter every time now, I guess, right?
I don't know, but it's really good for Potter. I mean, if you watch the broadcast, I'm sure you heard, his story. He was in Toronto, I think it was, and he rolled an ankle, or he stepped off a curb wrong or something freaky and shredded his ankle apart. He had to have pins and a plate and stuff put in, and then he had to have it taken back out a couple of years later. But his whole career got derailed because he stepped off a curb wrong for 4.5 years. So good for him, man. It's a great story and all.
It's always good to see. Good to see a guy get a win again.
DJ, previous 2-time winner there, hasn't finished outside the top 5 in the last 5 years. Starts even with him on the day and can't close him out. I don't know. What is that?
I don't know. It's Potter and Rose are the only guys who can outduel DJ, I guess, right?
I don't know, man. Andrew Landry gave him 54 holes at the U.S. Open last year. Nobody ever heard of Andrew Landry until that week. So I don't know, but he closed him out. So
yeah.
Either way, I don't think it's going to stop me from playing him this week.
Yeah, no, I don't think that would be the optimal play either. Real quick before we get into the Genesis, I just want to shout out Tom Schrank. Schrank. He took down the Listener League this week with a nice 5 of 6 line. He had DJ and Streelman, Perez, Harkins. Actually had James Hahn too, and Cook missed the cut. So shout out to him. Our guest last week, Logan, came in second. So just another abysmal finish by me in this league.
Oh God, I think I've been doing awful, man. I've been sucking hind tit. What I need to do for our official Bogey Free Listener League is I need to make a lineup that I think is going to be good and then erase it and put a bunch of players in that I think are going to suck, and I'll probably do way better.
This is also the first week that somebody managed to not put it in a lineup in the Listener League.
That's the only reason I didn't finish last.
I was going to say it's very minus EV.
Yeah, I mean, playing some golfers is usually good. So
it is the only reason I didn't finish last. That is the only reason.
Didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh no, I knew that I was sucking this week. I think I had Rory, or no, I had Rom and but it was Reed. I had too much Reed, man. Oh, well.
I tried to talk you out of him. If you would have listened to me about Chapel,
you did, man. Listen, props
lit.
to you. You did. I thought of you all weekend as Chapel was like cruising to a second page leaderboard finish, and Patrick Reed was riding the bus somewhere over to LA.
And then last thing, I needed small victories this weekend because the lineups that I put together were just abysmal. But the small victory that I did have, thanks to Rom's sort of Sunday explosion again, 2 of the top 5 guys did miss out on top 25, so I got that right, and that was pretty much it because I thought Rory was going to win the fucking thing, and he missed the cut. So,
yeah, but you know what? The other thing you have going for you, you have Sangmoon Bae going for you, man.
I do.
You've been riding that guy. He put it up there last week a little bit, and this is like your Christmas, right?
This is it.
Okay.
We'll get there. All right, let's Evan, get us back on the tracks here. What are you doing, man? Come on.
I was enjoying that, honestly. But no, we do have a tournament this week, the Genesis Open. And, before we get into any of these golfers here, I want to talk about some of the stats. I'll get to you, Chris. Talk about some of the stats and things that you're looking for to create a player pool for this week.
Yeah, so obviously I help out over at Fantasy National, so check that out if you haven't checked it out. It's a great place. It's got, a simulator, lineup generator, custom stat models, like head-to-head stuff, course history. It's a really nice site. But
it's not a nice site. It is the benchmark of fantasy statistics.
Yeah. Moose is really I think he's turning into revolutionizing the way people kind of look at things, which has been really cool to be a part of. But for me, what I'm kind of looking for here is somebody that can really scramble. I noticed last year that the majority of the approach shots came from 150 plus. If you look at it, it's only 26% of the shots are less than 150 yards. And so that's going to be a huge stat for me. And it's probably going to be 150 to 175 and then 175 to 200 that I'm looking for. I think par 4s are going to be a huge thing. And then also 2 of the 3 par 5s were the ones that were under par. So I think par 5 scoring is going to be kind of a big deal here. And then obviously guys that can hit the ball long are going to have a better shot. We've seen that in the past as well. So that's really what I'm looking for. It doesn't seem like driving accuracy is that big of a deal, but you never know. It is golf, so it doesn't really matter. That's the thing I like about golf is anybody can win. Look at old Ted Potter.
Jeez, Ted Potter. Jimmy, Matt, you guys have anything to add on to that?
You go ahead, Jim.
I agree. I think, you've got 6 par 4s that are over 450 yards. They average 1.24 strokes over par, but they account for 20% of your DraftKings points. The 400 to 450 yard par 4s count for another 20% of your DK points. They're a little bit easier, but still play over par. The only group that plays under par is the par 5, so I'm on board there. Long par 4s, so long irons and bombers is really what I'm looking for. That's kind of what I think succeeds here. This is a bombers track. It's kind of proven, that bombers do well here. Sands, hyper efficient guys like KJ Choi, who's shown up well here, but it's only because he just never misses a fairway. I think the fairways are only hit 54% of times, or 54% of the time, if I read Future Fantasy correctly this week. So that's 7.75 fairways around. And so one of the things that I kind of looked into is birdie or better from the rough. If everyone's going to miss the fairway, I want to know who's going to score from the rough. And we'll get into a couple of the guys later. And then there's only one guy in this field that shows up in scoring from birdie or better from the rough and scoring from the fairway, birdie or better from the fairway. There's only one guy in this field, and I think he's going to either be hated or loved. this week at his price point. So we'll get to him later. But I looked at, I think just expect guys to miss the fairway. That's why we favor bombers here. And then, maybe look for guys that can score from the rough a little bit. But I think 54% of the times fairways are hit. So, small greens and out of the rough is makes for a tough golf tournament. I think the course average is like 0.66 strokes over par. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it sort of always plays right in the middle of like the courses for the year, a little slightly over par most years. And I looked it up because I couldn't really find many guys who hit the all 4 rounds under 70, and it's only been 24 guys since 2003. So that just gives you an idea of like the scoring or lack of scoring. Yeah. But yeah, everything you guys said, I think this is one of the only weeks that sort of like strokes gained around the green or scrambling really factors in like a little bit more than usual this week. It popped about twice as important as usual in the model that I built out this week. So just something worth paying attention to.
Okay, well, with all that in mind, let's start talking about our golfers here. I mean, we have all these 10K and up guys. We have 5 guys. We have DJ, we have Spieth, McIlroy, Thomas, and Paul Casey, all in this range. Chris, I'll send it to you first. Who are you liking in this range? Who you want to be overweight or underweight on here? So yeah, just talk about this range of guys.
I'm probably a little bit different than some of you all. I pretty much try to shoot with like 1 to 3 lineups. So I'm not a huge GPP, like trying to jam in 20 different golfers. So I'm pretty I'm not very diverse in that way. So the 3 guys that I'm really looking at, I like Spieth, I like Johnson, and I like Casey. Those are the 3 guys. Now I don't mind all the other ones. I think they're fine, but the way I play where I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative. And I feel like those guys right now, their game is at a place where I can feel okay putting them in lineups and knowing they're not going to bust me. Whereas Rory is not to a point where I feel really comfortable in him. He definitely could win this track, but it's one of those things where I don't feel comfortable. And then I noticed there was a bit of a issue with the POA, what type of grass was going to be here. So I kind of noticed that the 3 best putters in this range over the last 12 rounds have been Spieth, Thomas, and Johnson out of this range. So I'm really shooting at Spieth or Johnson. Those are my guys. And then Casey would be somebody that I would consider. I might play him in one of my 3 lineups, but I'm kind of leaning towards either Spieth or Johnson, and I'm more leaning towards more guys in the 9K to 7K range, just because I feel like I can get more value there.
Okay, Jimmy.
I think the only guy that I really want anything to do with is DJ, and I don't think it's like really close at all. He's just absolutely owned this track since when he missed the cut in like 2012, I think it was. I don't really know what happened there, but I think he hasn't finished outside of 4th in the last 4 years. Just absolutely killing it here. He's the defending champion. Again, I'm not sure why he didn't close out Ted Potter last week. A little concerning. Maybe he was too relaxed playing with his dad-in-law, father-in-law. But DJ is like the very definition of Hollywood on tour. So I'm going to roll with DJ here and expect him to light it up again. Spieth, I don't really care about. I don't think he's really a threat to score as much as DJ is going to score, even if he finishes well, because I don't think he's going to be able to score as well around this track, especially with his putter. Dude, I saw that guy miss some like atrocious putts. So I'm off of Spieth until we get closer to the Masters and he gets some things sorted out to like really close out some wins. Because if I'm paying 11-3, I want him to win. I don't think he's going to win. Rory, maybe, but he doesn't putt well on POA. I should have played a little more into that last week. Obviously, some things aren't quite there for him yet, so I'll probably pass. JT is the one that's interesting to me here. Guys made the cut is a couple of times he's played here, but nothing really fantastic. And everyone kind of forgot about him after he blew up in Phoenix. He what he had like 8 birdies on the front, and then he shot like over par or even par. Sort of incredible the way he melted down on the back 9. So I think maybe people will be off of him a little bit. So I think it makes a really nice like pivot or contrarian play up here because he has an incredible scoring upside. So even after he finished 17th at Phoenix, he still scored over 100 points. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking for in a GPP play. So I'll take Thomas and expect that maybe he has a better performance than he's had in the past and scores well. So those are my two guys up here. Maybe a little Mickelson sprinkle, but unlikely. Oh, that's next category.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's definitely. You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, give me like all the JT in GPPs this week. I hope that people are just like, no way. And I know Jimmy, I know you don't play cash lines, but just like freaking, how do you not play Paul Casey? Like he just makes every goddamn cut.
If you're playing if you're playing cash, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, I'm with you. I would like to wait a little bit on Spieth. I'll definitely have some shares of McIlroy. You know, if I make 20 lineups, I'll probably have him like 15%. But and then you just got to find a way to play DJ because like you can't not.
How do you? So like I think the only case that I can make for fading DJ is to have some arbitrage in single entry GPPs. So if I enter 5 lineups in, you know, my main GPP or whatever, like if I go to a single entry and enter 1 lineup without DJ, I think that's the only way that I can like, I don't know. Otherwise you go 100%, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going 3 lineups and I'll have 2 of them with DJ and 1 of them without, just in case.
Yeah, so I think maybe like the best case to be made for fading DJ is to just to give yourself some exposure to the other side without him if he's because I don't know how heavily owned he's going to be. I think right now he's projected like upper 20s, but I think that gets higher than that by the time we actually roll around to tee off. So I think maybe in single entry GPPs you fade him.
Well, the worst round he's had in his last like 16 has been a 72 here.
Yeah, it's incredible
here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's definitely fade at your own risk. Again, golf is crazy. It's variant. There's always the opportunity that he just, you know, has. I mean, with the scoring the way that it is, just like 2 or 3 bad holes could really submarine you at a place like this. Like there aren't going to be a ton of eagle opportunities. There aren't going to be like birdies everywhere to be had. So, you know, if you want to and it works out, then you'll definitely be in good shape.
But I mean, the last time that we said this about somebody was Hideki a couple of weeks ago, and look at what happened.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Fun fact: you can stack DJ and Thomas, but it's ugly.
It's real ugly.
I was gonna say, like,
what does that leave you with? Like,
it's like 6,800 per guy.
Yeah, the value down there isn't even like.
And this week, we bitch about it every week, so you got to give them credit this week. I think
they did better.
The pricing was a hell of a lot better this week.
Yeah, this is their best pricing of the season.
Yeah, DraftKings definitely did better. No doubt about it. No 2 ways about it. They definitely did better this week.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you guys didn't like the pricing last week? I thought it was great.
Really?
I didn't detect any sarcasm there.
Hey, you could put in a lineup and still have like $10,000 and feel okay about it.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was awesome.
All right. Well, going on from the highest price guys, we go to our 9K guys, where we have Mickelson, Fleetwood, Berger, and Grace. Who are you guys liking in this range? I mean, Mickelson, there's an interesting argument for, or just fading this whole range in general and going for a certain $8,800 golfer.
I'm on team fade this range for the most part. I don't know how you guys feel about Fleetwood.
Love him.
I think that might be the guy that I would want to play here. But yeah,
it's Fleet God. You got to take Fleet God.
Tommy Fleetwood has
it
such
is.
a
I mean,
good...
listen. I feel like that could be a super trap.
Yeah, I don't care. I love him.
6 to T3 to 1 or to and a T6. Like I think everyone's gonna feel the way you feel, and I don't know. It just feels trappy to me. But he could absolutely win, and he is a phenomenal player. I don't know. I'm finding ways to keep talking myself out of him. So try and talk me into him.
Look at his hair. Period.
That is
okay. Fair point. He's okay. Swag God, fine.
Yeah. He's in.
But
he is pretty swaggy.
He hasn't missed a cut since the Memorial,
and he's so likable.
Which means he's due for a miscut.
No,
okay.
Oh God! Don't say the word "due." Stop.
If you're into gambling fallacies, sure, but
no, I know. I'm playing devil's advocate for no reason at all. But no, talk me into Fleetwood. Tell me why you like him.
No, I mean he definitely could screw this up. I mean he did at the Masters when everybody was hyping him up. I mean he played poorly there. I mean it's definitely in his capability to do that. But
yeah,
well, that's because he just completely goated out at the API last year and went 78-66 and made the cut and then ended up like top 10, which is when he sort of like got on my radar. Like I had 1 million shares of him and I was cursing him all day Thursday. And then he came back. So he has a special place in my heart for that. And honestly, I don't know. He's like outdueling Rory in Abu Dhabi. Like it seems like his game is in a different gear right now. So I'll definitely have quite a bit of him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think he has. I mean, he showed us at the Open or the U.S. Open that he has the capability to play with guys like Brooks and long hitters, and I just think he'll be fine. I don't know if he'll win, but I mean, I just like watching the guy play.
No doubt, agree with the watching. Like to watch him play. Just not sure I'm going to pull the trigger on playing a lot of him. If I have exposure, it'll be pretty minimal, I think. What about Berger? Is anybody on Berger? I'm not. I'm just sort of curious because it doesn't feel like anybody's going to be on Berger.
His numbers look decent for sure.
I'm in on Berger. He's definitely going to be. He's in my cash core.
So, really? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you know where he graduated from, so big Florida State fan. So I gotta have him there. But yeah, I like him. I think he's a good putter. I think that he's really good around the greens, and he can give himself a shot to be in contention just because of how good of a putter he is. I mean, he's not one of those guys that's just like middle and he's like good sometimes, bad sometimes. He's a pretty good putter most of the time. So I think he's on that different category of putting, and that's something here that can potentially win it for you or put you in a top 20. And that's really what I'm looking for from a guy at 92, I think is what he is, right? 92?
Yeah.
So top 20, top 10, I'd be perfectly fine with him. And plus, I don't think he's going to make too many bogeys. That being said, he'll probably go out and shoot 95, 98 now. So look like
I think I've just made the decision to fade all 4 $9,000 golfers. I'm not going to roster a single one.
I'm rostering 2 of them, baby.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the decision people are put to this week. They're going to do exactly one of those 2 things. So I think that's interesting. We'll see what happens.
One of the hard things with a guy like Fleetwood is like, with the European Tour, it's impossible to come up with statistics for a guy like that because he's so heavy over there. And that's, I think a lot of people obviously will be on him because he's so talked up. But, I mean, it's hard to get numbers to back him up because he doesn't play many rounds in the United States.
Oh, you're 100% right.
Yeah, and just going back to Berger real quick, I have been referencing this a lot lately, but I've been building out models that predict sort of top 25 likelihood of a top 25 finish based on whatever the key stats are for the week. And Berger ended up 13th in that model. With the recent form, he was actually like 78%. Chance of a top 25. So the only guy who beat him in this range is Grace, who actually had the 4th best odds to top 25 according to the model that I built out. So something to keep in mind. I mean, Grace was unbelievable on approach last week, right? He hit I think close to 80% of greens last week. So
I guess to tag on to your machine learning and model talk real quick there, I build 2 fantasy national models and I move them into Excel, and then I put some course history and some recent form in there, and I build like sort of a master model like we all used to do. You put a weight to them, and then I have an optimizer run through that, and I have it optimized and I run it several different ways. and then I run an optimizer on strokes gained historically at the course, and then on strokes gained recent form. And I can't get the optimizer not to give DJ. And I've been doing this optimizer for like half a season now, or however long Fantasy National's been around, throughout the swing season and the beta. And it never puts the top price golfer in, ever. And it keeps doing it this week. And that's why I'm finding it so hard to get anybody in the 9K range, I think.
Yeah.
Is because I can't get away from having DJ in almost every lineup.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how roster construction ends up going for you, I mean, I think there's definitely going to be some people that click on Phil, right? Like it's always going to happen. There's going to be people who just try to be cute and fade DJ in general. So if just sort of like Logan was talking about last week, like he had a set thing in his head where he was building lineups, X, Y, and Z. Like if that's where you're at, then I can't make a strong enough case to be like, there's no way you shouldn't be playing one of these guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely in consideration. It's just they just popped in the stuff that I put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the simulator we have has DJ winning 101 times out of 1,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then the other one that I just wanted to say was for Berger, we have him at 258 top 20s out of 1,000. So,
yeah.
I mean, granted, it's a simulator, so who knows? But it's been pretty good.
The last time I trusted the simulator, it made me mayonnaise.
Yeah, it did not last if you trust Austin Cook, because he's been like top 5 every single week. Because
he's ranked pretty well again this week.
Yeah, he will be for a really long time because he had so many good rounds in the swing season, I guess.
Nice. Oh,
yeah, it's pretty dope.
All right, well, I guess we've discussed our 9K guys. Let's finally get to the main sauce that everyone wants to talk about. Tiger's back. I mean, not back. I mean, he played a couple weeks ago, but we get another Tiger tournament. Are we rostering Tiger this week? I don't think so, but
how dare you?
Is there a case?
I've kind of not even given Tiger Woods a thought this week, actually, as I've gone around and done everything. I have almost looked right past him, maybe to my detriment. I'm sure there's some really sharp people that are going to have 100% exposure to him. Maybe I'm missing something, but it just doesn't seem like it's all there for him. He can't. Now, that said, he couldn't hit a fairway a couple of weeks ago, and everybody else in the field could. Well, now nobody's going to be hitting fairways, so it may not matter. And he may be better than we expect because of that, because his scrambling and his putting were really good, and his long irons were better than I expected them to be. So who knows? Maybe I'm totally missing something. I guess I'm just waiting for Tiger to be the old Tiger, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, let's play him because it's free money. But until then, I'm just at 15% ownership on his first tournament back. What is his ownership going to be now? 20 at 8,800? I was
going to say, if he's going to be 15,
I was just thinking I'll take the other side, but I don't know. Am I missing something?
No, I mean, if he's going to be 15 to 20% owned and at 8,800, he's got to do a lot. And I mean, realistically, if you're going to win a GPP, I mean, you got to have 6 of the top, 8 to 10 scoring DK golfers. And do you really think Tiger Woods is going to be a top 10 DraftKings scoring golfer?
Well, no, and that's kind of the thing.
Yeah. And what percentage of the time does that happen? That's what you got to think about. I
don't know. I mean, I guess that depends, because if it was 6-7 years ago, 8 years ago, we'd say 25% of the tournaments that he teed it up in, he won.
Yeah.
I mean, which is just astronomical. That was pre, 4-iron through the window of a moving vehicle. So
that'll always be his legacy.
Everyone makes mistakes, Jimmy.
Listen, I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying that was, this is before that happened. After that happened, he's been a different person, physically, emotionally. He's been a softer, gentler Tiger now.
I mean, a softer, soft and gentle tigers don't eat.
That's maybe the problem. Has he lost his killer instinct?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think he has. I mean, I'm probably not going to roster him. I might, but I hope he does really well. I like watching.
I feel like I'm
that's the sentiment right there. I feel
like I'm taking crazy pills right now. It's Tiger fucking Woods. You're gonna play. You got to play Tiger. If he goes off, you're gonna feel like such a donkey for not playing Tiger at 8,800 because there's a reasonable chance that he ends up at like 10. Yeah, but no, stop. There's a reasonable chance that in 2 months we're talking about like 10-5 Tiger. Like there's no reason not to like match the field at least.
Okay.
But do you really think though that he has a 15 to 20% chance of being a top 10 scoring golfer?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Especially here with the scrambling, I don't think the scores are going to be that low.
Like, what was the only thing that saved him the last time that we saw him? His around the green game, correct?
Yeah.
What is it? The most important thing this week? The only time it's really that important is here. Like, why wouldn't you assume that at like base level he'll continue that? And if he does a little bit better off the tee and slightly better on approach, I don't know. I feel
I'm gonna take the L, and I'm gonna listen to Matt here, and I'm gonna roster. I'm gonna roster one lineup because I'm not playing a ton this week.
1 to 3.
But I'm gonna play him. I'm probably only playing like 8 to 10 lineups this week, so I'm gonna have him at least 10%. So I'm gonna have him in one lineup. One lineup. Maybe two.
I feel much better now.
But I feel like you've made a compelling argument for the former GOAT. Well, not former, because you don't like un-GOAT Tiger Woods. The former world number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he still is one of the greatest golfers of our time, if not the greatest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to go down as the greatest by the time it's all said and done and history like looks back on it years from now. But either way, thanks, Matt. I'm going to roster some.
I'm going to make him my one and done in our thing this week.
That is bold.
You know what?
I'm just doing it.
That's fine.
Because I can't make, just like you couldn't do your whole Patrick Reed thing last week and not make him your one and done. Like, I can't act like this and then not put him in, right? Like, that would be ridiculous.
Fair. I like the commitment.
I respect that. I respect it.
I'm trying to be a little, I'm trying to make some stands. We talked about this last week.
That's true.
All right, well then talk to me about Mark Leishman at 8,500, and what is your thought on Mark Leishman? Like, I'm not playing Pat Perez. Alexander Noren definitely deserves some exposure, but Mark Leishman's really interesting to me at 8,500 there.
Like, interesting in a good way?
Yeah, like I'm interested in him, and I just need someone to talk me into like more exposure to him.
All right, well maybe Chris can talk you into it because I am ready to talk you out of it.
Okay, well then see that's kind of what I'm leaning toward because he has a 5th here in between 2 missed cuts. Otherwise, he's he opened up the season really hot. We've seen like a better Mark Leishman. 8,500 is like a lot of value for a guy that's ranked pretty highly in the world. So I was just I don't know, maybe not. Maybe just go back down to Brendan Steele instead.
Yeah, I'm off on. I'm not even gonna touch him.
Okay. Fair point.
I think
moving on.
I think the POA stuff scares me a little bit. I think I'll
say he wouldn't be a good contrarian play. I don't think he's going to be heavily owned, but like
I thought Kevin Kisner at 8,200 would be a contrarian play last week. He turned out to suck and be highly owned. Double negative.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. That was my thing too. So you're welcome again, guys. See, I got 2 things right last week out of the 8,000 things I said.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say you didn't strike out.
Yeah. No golden sombrero.
No, for once.
How about X-Man? Anybody interested in a little X-Man? I'm off Finau this week. Back-to-back missed cuts here. Tough tournament, tough course. I'm off Finau.
See, when you say that makes me want to play Finau.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right because like so far this week, I think I like a lot of chalky guys, and I think you're absolutely right. If everyone thinks the way I just thought right there, then Tony Finau's probably an excellent play.
Yeah, all I do is read stuff, and then I'm like, oh, those people think he's good. Let me go the other way. That seems like a good idea, and then it never works. But one week it will.
But it's like, and also, how often do we get like Tony Finau where people are doubting him. Like everybody's in love with Tony Finau.
Yeah, I mean he's relatively
right. And it's a bomber's track. I guess I'm a little biased to the negative course history there. Partially because I haven't been as hyped up on Tony Finau as maybe everybody else has. So I'm okay for any reason to doubt him. But that said, like at 83 and 8,200, like I think just between the two, I think I would rather play Xander. I mean, Xander's a better golfer.
The course history is definitely a scary thing with Finau. I mean, he shot a 69, 270s, and then everything else is 72 and over. So that's definitely something where that he's not a cash game play. I'll tell you that much.
No, maybe he has a GPP play. Let's see how ownership shakes out.
And then you just got to go Ches Goat, right?
It seems like it. He's performed well after, as well as missing the cut here, but he seems to just be dialed in, man.
Yeah.
You watch him, like he was just dropping bombs, and for like a portly midget, I mean, because let's face it, he's not a real big guy, and he's a little portly. He wears like kind of baggy clothes because he's got like a
portly
cut. Huh?
He's portly.
I think he's portly.
Wait,
like watch it. Like he looks a little chubbier than like maybe his frame would allow. That's all. Like I think that maybe if he dropped 15 pounds, Ches would probably look a little more svelte. That's all.
Yes, I just Google imaged it, and some of these swinging pictures, you could see a little bit of a gut. So I'll give you that. But we don't body shame on this podcast, though, Jimmy.
I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying that he's a little portly. I didn't say it was negative. Like maybe it helps the rhythm of his swing. Maybe if he lost weight, he would suck. Maybe because he added a few pounds, he's been playing better. Good for Ches. Hey, eat that extra Twinkie, Ches. No big deal, brother.
I feel like you're describing Ted Potter Jr.
Listen,
I was going to say, the way you
subscribe to the Big Gravy School of Fitness.
Yeah, the way you described Ches, you made him seem like a sphere.
No, he's not a sphere. I said he's portly. Portly just means like you're a little heavy. You're like big boned.
I don't see it. I don't like his hat.
That's okay. Listen, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And Chris thinks that Ches is beautiful. And that's fine. But I do think that Ches is dialed in with his long irons. I think that he's probably going to repeat a positive performance instead of that negative miscut here. The course does seem kind of long for him, but again, he was just so dialed in. He wasn't missing fairways. He wasn't missing greens, and even when he was in contention, he didn't seem to get rattled. He didn't get rattled a couple of weeks ago when he was in contention. So I mean, I guess you just keep knocking on that door, and eventually it opens, right?
He had that nice sand save on what was it, 17, 16? He had a really nice sand save late in the round where you felt like it could just go south, and then he had the nice save on 18, I believe, where he hit the first one where they thought it was OB and said it was in.
Yeah, I mean, I think he plays a really good tee to green game that could go well here.
Over his last 12 rounds, he is 4 in DK points, 1 in strokes gained total, 1 in tee to green, 3 in ball striking, 11 in short game, 8 off the tee, 2 in approach, and 2 in around the green, and 78th in putting. So, I mean, he's been unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, back-to-back second place is,
is okay.
And he's lost to, I mean, 2 of the greatest golfers of all time in Ted Potter Jr. and Gary Woodland. So, you can't knock him for coming in second.
If he would have lost 15 pounds, he could have won. Yeah,
maybe he would add a little more oomph into one of the putts or something. Maybe he got a better hip turn. Who knows?
Would have been able to see his ball a little bit more around the fat rolls that he has.
Yeah, poor Ches. I don't know if we need to go that far. I just said he was Portland.
We'll talk to his people about that. We'll send him some P90X or something.
Speaking of
send him some Team 12, some Tom Brady guys.
Speaking of losing weight and sucking, why don't we talk about Bubba Watson for a little bit?
Oh, great idea. I think this is a good week to play him.
I'm huge in
Really?
So I've had a note I have a one and done like Excel sheet that I put together, and like I have a note like section next to each tournament that I filled out like before the season started. And next to this one, I have DJ one and done. It's sort of like like an automatic. And then next to it, I have watch Bubba Watson And then, and then next to that, I have, in quotes, and then Masters, because I think this is where Bubba either gets on track or the season sort of fetters away like it did last year, to me, because this is where Bubba has had a lot of success. I think this is what his season's been building to. This is where he is looking to sort of, because let's face it, Bubba plays well where Bubba plays well, and the tracks he doesn't, like, he really, really doesn't. So he's played better than expected, I think, recently. And I think this is what he's been kind of building to, and this is like what he's been kind of looking towards. So I expect Bubba to play well here. Probably not win or anything like that, but a top 20, sure. I think, and Bubba probably scores halfway decent as well. So I think if he plays well here, he makes for an interesting value bet at the Masters if you can still get a number on him.
Ugh. I have no interest in Bubba Watson this week.
Listen,
I will be staying
for the record,
far away.
Neither, by the way.
Just, I don't know, seven of his last 8 rounds losing strokes around the green, and he hasn't been the same guy tee to green. Otherwise, I just if I'm wrong on him, I'll be okay with it.
That's probably the sharp stance to take.
Yeah.
Especially because there's other guys I like in this range, so I'm not going to have any Bubba.
I will have a little Bubba. I'm not going to have tons of Bubba, but I will have a little Bubba. My maybe favorite play on the whole slate is like $100 less than him.
I think he's going to be really over-owned.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the course history. And so I just can't. I played him 2 weeks ago, I guess, at the Waste Management, only because I thought he was going to be low-owned. But here I just can't. I can't pull the – I like him. I'm fine with it, but I can't pull the trigger.
Fair enough. Can't fault you.
So, Jimmy, is the guy that you like $100 less Kevin Chappell this week or no?
It is not, although I do like Kevin Chappell. I think he'll top 25. Huh?
Little Tommy Peters for you?
It is little Thomas Peters. Yeah.
I'm with it.
So, if you believe in patterns, I know Evan's big on patterns, right? So Chappell has like missed cut, top 25, missed cut, or he has top 25, missed cut, top 25, missed cut. So this week should be a top 25 for him. Sure. Kevin Chappell's locked in for that. Thomas Peters, on the other hand, has in his last 4 tournaments, this will be his 5th because he hasn't played over here this year. He had an 11th at the Turkish Airlines, then a 58th at the DP World Championship, which is poor. But then he followed up the 58th with a 5th place finish, right, at the Abu Dhabi Golf Championship, so a big bounce back. Then he only dropped off to a 32nd at the Dubai Desert Classic. So if you do the math, and I haven't done all of it, I'm just estimating here, he should win this week.
I can't fault the logic. That is mathematically concrete logic right there.
I'm a math teacher, and I'm sure he's right on that.
So, anyway, patterns. No, Thomas Peters is a phenomenal talent, and he was actually a 54-hole leader a few weeks back and just couldn't close it out on Sunday. So I think he'll draw upon some good memories this week after finishing second here last year. His game's sort of tailor-made for it. He's as talented as Rom, DJ, and the rest of the guys if he can keep it together between the ears. So I really like Tommy Fleetwood. I'm sorry, not Tommy Fleetwood. Was that a Freudian slip? I'm looking at a tab with Tommy Fleetwood's name on it. Oh my God! Does that mean Tommy Fleetwood's going to win now, and I'm going to have none of him? This is tragic.
Champion.
I think my fellow people who don't play Euro probably have a pretty bad taste in their mouth about Thomas Peters too. Like in general. Just looking through his like actual PGA results, like I don't know. I feel like after the Masters, everybody loved him. But I'm just saying, I feel like after the Masters, like everybody loved him, and then he misses the cut at the Open. Like there's definitely a segment of people who only play, regular PGA and not Euro that will definitely have some pause. I think the price versus his world golf ranking obviously makes him. Solid play, but
I'm just banking on what happened last year happening again for the first 2 places, that Dustin wins and then Peters finishes second. And if that happens, if history just repeats itself, I'll be fine this week. I'm going to lose lots of money, I'm sure.
That's definitely the way to.
It's a great way to think it, you know?
Who else you got up here, Chris, in this 7,000 range?
I am on board with Chappell. I think that he's been playing fairly well. I like all of his stats. I'm good with Chappell. I don't know about Rafa. He played well last week, and then he was bad for a little bit, and then he played well at the end. I don't know about Hostler. I'm probably going to stay away from him, even though I'm looking at our ownership projections now, and he's at 0.6. So, like, no one at all is remotely even close to him. So it makes me want to play him now. And then I am a huge Keegan fan, as always.
No.
Love him. I'm the Keegan Whisperer. I'm the Keegan Whisperer.
I'm on board with Keegan with you this week. I've got a lot of him. I wrote him up this week. I really like Keegan's game for this course.
I don't mind it. I don't care if anybody misses a cut. It doesn't make me hate him or anything. It's more enjoyable. I'd rather play Keegan than play, like, I don't know, somebody good rather than somebody bad.
All right, so Jimmy, why don't we do an Avi bet? I'll take Kokrak and you could take Keegan.
I like Kokrak though.
But you've already had these strong stances on Keegan.
Come on, you said you wanted Keegan. Take him. Let's go.
I mean, I take my Glover.
Let me look. We're gonna table that. I think I'll probably take the bet, but we're gonna table that because I really like Kokrak as well. And you know what? Screw it. I'll take the bet.
Take Keegan as your one and done. Show him.
Listen, I'm not that hubris. It's going to be DJ. In fact, I've already locked in my one and done everywhere. It's DJ.
You can't do that. He's taking Tiger. You're taking Keegan. Whoever wins, wins. Come on. Take the bet.
Well, no, wait. I thought the bet was Kokrak versus Keegan.
Changed it. Wait,
what? How did you just match that?
Did you just hijack his bet?
Yeah. Come on, take a stance.
So if it's Keegan as a one and done versus Tiger, I'm in for that.
Worst one and done picks ever.
If you want to do Keegan versus Tiger as an Avi bet in our one and done league, I'm in for that because you're second and I'm first. You were beating me by $150,000.
Wait, hold on. You that much already.
You'd rather wait, hold on. Before we even get there, you'd rather give me Tiger than Jason Kokrak.
He's got balls. It takes balls to say
in a one and done league. Tiger versus Currents, Keegan, maybe. Sure.
Man, but that's for the Avi bet too.
But but you have to take. You can't use Tiger anywhere else in bogey free for the rest of the year. I'm not worried about using Keegan.
There we go. You're welcome.
So that's your dilemma is whether or not you want to take Tiger.
He's locked in. That's it. We're doing
it. So it's Tiger versus Keegan for the Avi bet in the one and done league. I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't know how I just talked to you guys that.
Perfect.
Our one and done is going to be so easy this week.
There you go, man. I'm helping you out.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we can move on. We all like Keegan except Matt, who doesn't like Keegan.
No, I hate Keegan. So, I always hate Keegan. I shouldn't even have to say it at this point.
I mean, he's not the worst golfer in the world.
He's close though.
That's true.
If Keegan wins this week and I win this one and done, I'm not entirely sure how I'll react, but it will be positive.
No.
He's not gonna win. He doesn't do that.
You don't know.
Won a major.
Yeah. You say all these crazy things about Keegan.
Evan was in diapers when he won a major.
Hey, Keegan's on a resurgent tear, so we'll see. Anyway, that's enough Keegan talk for this podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say that was.
How about we get on to Ollie Schneiderjans at 7,600, the Hatless Wonder, who I think is another excellent play this week. Also, probably going to be very chalky.
Yep, love it. I always love Ollie.
So who do you guys maybe like as some contrarian plays? Because we know that we like Kokrak as well. Like Martin Keimer is criminally underpriced, but I feel like this is a bad course for him. since it requires lots of scrambling.
Yeah. I mean, it's Chucky 3-6 all day down here too.
Interesting.
What do you mean? Do we need another Abby bet?
Not negatively. There's a whole bunch of guys you just skipped past that I thought we're going to talk about. That's all.
What about Streelman? You guys in on him or out? I mean, like I don't think he's going to be very highly.
I was on him last week, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't not on him. I guess I've skipped past him this week, but yeah, he's probably one of those things like where you ride a guy for a couple of weeks and you get off of him and he shows up again like really big.
I mean, he missed the cut last year. That's the only concern that I have of him.
Shortsel, anybody?
I would be out on him. I don't like his first name. If you're gonna cut,
it's a big deciding factor for me too.
If you're gonna cut your name short, I can't roster you. Come on.
I have a Keegan Bradley update that actually makes me kind of on him. Guess who has the 10th highest according to the Fantasy National simulator? Guess who has the 10th highest best odds of winning?
Keegan, because I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's adorable.
Now that being said, you see 2 up is Adam Scott. So
yeah, I love Adam.
Yeah. So about Adam Scott at $7,400.
I am a fan of Adam Scott this week.
Even after that.
I don't know why, but I just am. I just have the gut feel.
Okay.
I don't.
Chris?
I think it was because I watched the other Adam Scott's new show, Ghosted.
Oh God.
And I kind of liked it. And every time I see Adam Scott in a movie, I always end up playing him in DK Golf. It always happens.
I'm not sure what that is, but
it's something we're supposed to know.
What?
I'm sure it's something other people know. It's just I know.
The other Adam Scott, the actor?
The actor.
Yeah, I don't watch TV. I'm not cool.
Oh man.
I'm 31. TV's out.
So I'm assuming the Netflix and chill life is. Yeah,
that's true.
That's me. That's me. Yeah.
I actually am okay with Adam Scott. I just looked at how he played. I didn't really pay attention because I was so pissed after day one. But I mean, he 77, 70, 70. I mean, that's definitely a good trend, and it is Adam Scott, so he can definitely score really well. But I do think he'll be a little bit more owned than other people down here. But I think he would be a good person to try to jam in if you're trying to take Dustin, because they're, they fit well together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote up Adam Scott this week as sort of like a risky play. I like Adam Scott this week. His course history is sort of incredible. His game is tailor-made for it. He didn't lose strokes anywhere on the course last week except putting, and he didn't even lose a whole stroke. He only lost 0.8, and he still missed the cut because it's like a scoring event, right?
Yes.
With 3 rounds. So I don't know if Adam Scott's game is like as far away as everybody else thinks it is.
It was the bad first round, and it was a couple of holes.
You add that to the course history, and I kind of like Adam Scott as a really cheap value play. But that one guy that shows up on the scoring list for out of the rough and birdies out of the fairway, he's the only person in the field that shows up in the top 10 of both lists. It's Adam Scott. He scores more than 25% out of the rough. 25% of the time he's in the rough, he scores out of it.
Let's see here.
So I did the math, and guys like Adam Scott, Martin Laird fits that list. Berger, Woodland, Spieth, and Holmes are also on that list. So is Charlie Hoffman, Kokrak. Those are all guys in the top 20. Birdie or better out of the rough. Guys on that list will average 1.56 birdies more than the rest of the field this week.
I'm not trying to be rude, but the last math that you did, I felt like was a little big jumps. So I'm a little scared when you say I did the math here.
No, this is actual math. This is real math. This is not like Thomas Peters winning pattern math. This is actual math.
I mean, that was still good math.
Yeah. On the fairways that the field will miss, based on future fantasy, and the rate that these guys score out of the rough, they will average 1.56 birdies more than the rest of the field. So for those few guys I just listed.
If you look at Adam Scott and how he played now, like from the reason why he missed the cut was purely because of a 3-hole span. Like that's what killed him. He was good the rest of the couple of rounds, and there's a 3-hole span there where he went bogey, double, bogey, and kind of screwed him in that first round. And I think you're right. I think he's a good play. I could definitely use him pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sold. I don't want to be early on him. I feel like there's still something wrong, regardless of the strokes gain stuff. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
I will move a little farther down from him. I mean, we have the rest of the lower half, that 7K range. And you got some decent names here. Of course, you have Ted Potter.
Yeah, no.
Going back to back.
No, we're down in your territory, Matt. We're in Sangmoon Bay territory.
Yeah, I was about to ask about him.
Yeah, man. I mean, how do you know?
12th his last 3 times here before he had to go to military service. So what is that? And then what did he finish last week? Like 20th, 13th, 15th, something like that. So what are you gonna do? You playing him? I wrote him up. Basically, I wrote him up for you. Actually, it was kind of like an ode to Matt Jones.
Yeah, TFR. No, I'm definitely
Brewing CEO.
There. Hey, don't get me in trouble. I'm not the CEO.
CEO, yeah, CFO.
Yeah, I think he's a solid play. I think I was sort of saying it for a few weeks, right? Like I'm just waiting for that like snap back, like get into a little bit of form. And to be totally honest, I mean, I know we only had the 2 rounds at Pebble to go with the strokes gain stuff, but it's not like he was way like, unsustainable putting or anything like that. He just put together solid rounds, played really well. I think he'll be comfortable here, obviously, like you said, with his course history. So yeah, I mean, 7,200, I think we'll definitely see that price start to come up as we head towards the Masters. So I'm happy to play him a little bit. I'm hoping he doesn't get too chalky, but I've already seen people tweeting about him. So I think his ownership is gonna be higher than we might think at the moment.
Yeah, Haotong Li is the other interesting guy down here at 72, and Jonathan Vegas. I wrote up Jonathan Vegas. I really think that we've seen like a better Jonathan Vegas this year. He's kind of like filled out his game a little bit from just being a bomber. Got great long irons. I think this could be a course where he plays pretty well this week. So those 2 guys are interesting to me. I don't think I'll play Haotong Li. A little too volatile and coming overseas, but talented player. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I was actually just looking at Vegas down here, and then Lee, obviously. Molinari kind of intrigues me down here. And then another one that we skipped past that I do really like is Charlie Hoffman. I really like what he can do, and he just seems.
Why did he withdraw?
Oh, did Hoffman withdraw this week?
Last week. Why did he withdraw last week? I assumed it was an injury, but if it's not, then I'm more interested.
I'm not sure. No.
I'm trying to pull it up now.
Anyway, sorry, I derailed you. My apologies.
It says emergency 9. Can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't find anything on him. But as far as that goes, I liked all those guys, and then I played Brian Gay last week and really, really liked what he could do. But then this week, I think the course is just going to be too long for him to be able to do anything. I think he's not as long of a hitter. The other one down here I'm looking at is Cameron Smith. Do you have any thoughts on him?
Love Cam Smith.
Yeah.
He's been popping and everything too. Just obviously he has solid around the green stuff.
His distance
last one
isn't there.
But I mean,
that's
he's
my
average.
Big concern with him is I'm not sure he can hang on this big of a golf course because he's not like a really efficient driver. I feel like with his distance, he needs to be more efficient to compete here, and I worry about him just being like bleeding a stroke and a half around away that he just won't be able to recover. But I mean, I could be wrong. That's just like what my gut tells me on him.
Yeah, another one is Lucas Glover.
Evan
Here
just
we go,
smiled. Go ahead.
I think Evan just popped the chub.
Sorry.
Dude, glove daddy.
But I mean, he's in the same category though with Luke List, where like if you run stat models, those two guys are like gods compared to everybody else. But he did have some solid rounds to where he made cuts. I mean, the last time he missed a cut was the Travelers, 2017. Since then, he's made every single cut. So, I just think for this price, he's somebody that you could kind of jam in with a DJ and feel moderately okay about it. I don't think I'd ever touch him in cash, but I think he definitely is somebody I'd feel okay about. Am I way off base there? Do you all? Or
no, you can always feel like okay about him. It's it's just I always worry about his upside. I mean, unless he catches one of those heaters. But I mean, on a difficult course like this that plays over par, you can always like count on Lucas Glover to be tee to green and to kind of be there. I just I guess we're getting more into the season where Lucas Glover's game kind of competes because the courses are tougher. Because the premium on fairways and tee to green is enhanced with the course difficulty going up. So yeah, I can see it. I guess I'm just never a big Glover fan for the upside, but
yeah, I think just
Evan's a huge fan.
Just on principle, I have to be against Lucas Glover, but yeah, I can't say anything nice about him because I just can't do it.
What about James Hahn?
Love him. Like, I just think, like, he's a weekend god. Like, I've been playing him every weekend just because he's on, like, the greatest weekend golfer, apparently.
Yeah.
It's like
I always miss the James Hahn boat, but this seems like a week where he could play well. Like, he's played well at Riviera before. He's won here before, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know. I'm a little intrigued by that. Gets pretty gross. There's one guy at 6,900 I really like, and if you guys don't have anybody else.
Let's hit it.
It's a Martin Laird.
Yeah,
Party Marty
coming off of was like a top 10, ninth place I think, ninth place at the Waste Management, and has played pretty well here in the past. Also missed a couple of cuts, so not without risk. But at 6,900, I think if you're like trying to jam in DJ and some of the other guys up there, you gotta get really low, and he's one of them. Brandon Harkins is another one that's really low at 6,800.
Yeah, and he's long off the tee, and he does pretty well scoring. So he's somebody that even, if he can make it to a weekend, he can score you some points.
For sure.
To other people this low, because he's 11th in the field over his last 50 rounds in scoring for DK points.
Nice.
Yeah, those are my two guys down here.
Going with $6,600 love mark.
I won't.
It's certainly an option.
This seems like the kind of course he'd play well at, though. When you think about it, he's a bomber. He scrambles really well, and he is like a decent putter. But it's not because he's a terrible golfer.
Yeah, he's been pretty bad lately.
You guys not big Harris English fans?
No.
Is there such a thing as a Harris English fan?
I mean, there has to be someone.
Like maybe his mom, but I don't know.
Like his mom or his significant other, whoever. I mean, someone's got to like him.
I've never gotten him right. Anytime I've ever had like a decent feeling about Harris English, it always comes back to bite me.
You know who could play well again this week is Troy Merritt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was on TV more than I've ever watched him golf in my life on Sunday.
Yeah, and what's funny? Like he's a really underrated athlete. I saw like a behind the tour thing on him or something a year or two ago. He's a really, really like unassumingly athletic person.
I think to tell us he needs to lose some weight.
No. He's very svelte, very trim, streamlined. I think he was much more athletic than than I thought he was when they did the thing. I was impressed. Like Cole Beasley. You know how athletic Cole Beasley is? He like that little dude can dunk a basketball.
And he's an awesome rapper too, so he's got that going for him.
Is he really? That's great. I didn't even know that about him.
He's god awful. He came out with the rap song. It was terrible.
Oh, I thought you were going to deliver some awesome news.
Look it up on your free time. It's something special.
Oh, bummer.
All right. I mean, I don't have anybody else here. You guys have anybody else that's even worth a dart throw?
No.
Maybe Bud Cauley, but probably not. Like, I mean, that's the only other name that I'm even like remotely comfortable.
I do have one name to throw out there. What about Kyle Stanley? Is that
sure?
I know he's like really boring to watch, but
if you're feeling it, if you're down here and you have like a conviction on any of these guys, you can go for it because like Cameron Tringale could show up or Aaron Badley. I played Aaron Badley last week and he had a decent week. Like, you know, if you've got a feeling.
Tringale is the only one down here that even has like reasonable, like if you're into course history, like he's the only one that even has like decent course history down here. I think he's made something like 5 straight cuts, and I think it was top 10 here last year. So if you are a course history person, that's something to hang your hat on for like basically free, right?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
All right, so we know our one and dones, right? We got me and Jimmy's one and dones. What do you got?
Keegan and Tiger, got it. Mine's already locked in.
I'll go Adam Scott as my one and done.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm gonna take the lead this week. This is gonna be so fucking great. I'm so excited. Oh man, thanks guys, appreciate it. Chris, what you got a one and done for us?
Like in the actual one I'm in, I'm between using my Dustin Johnson now, even though I'm pretty far behind on this quarter, not incredibly far behind, but enough to where I don't know if I want to use him. So I'll probably end up using, I don't know, maybe Peters, just because I'm pretty far behind at this point. I don't think I can come back for this quarter, so I don't want to use Johnson or any of my big gun. Like I don't want to use Johnson or Fleetwood, who I would use if I was in contention. So if I had a shot, but you know, when you take Kuchar and then I had like a run of 3 guys getting third, which killed me. So couldn't get Harmon or any of those guys to win it. Just came in third. So I'm probably going to go Peters.
That's solid. I like that pick.
Nice.
All right, we got anything else, boys?
No. I think that's it for us.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys letting me come on here. It was fun.
Absolutely, man. Thanks.
Yeah, that'll do it for the crew. Make sure to follow us on iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast over there, Bogey Free. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is also Bogey Free. And of course, if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contests this week.
See you.